Year 4, this is your English lesson for Thursday the 28th of January. You've done some brilliant work on our Escape from Pompeii text. So over the next 2 days, today and tomorrow, we're going to be doing some guided reading lessons and saving the invention stage of our English writing for next week, okay? So our guided reading lesson for today is going to be quite similar to the last guided reading lesson you have in summarising text, okay? But just to get us warmed up, let's have a look at the image on the screen in front of you, okay? So you can see this picture used in the advertising for Maltesers, and I've got a few questions for you just to get you thinking this morning. So my first question is, which adjective describes Maltesers? So that's our retrieval question. You just need to look at the picture, read the words, and see if you can pick out the adjective for me. The second question is, who do you think the advert is aimed at? Okay, so whoever made the advert, who are they aiming it to appeal to? And the third question is, why did the illustrator add halos to the chocolates? So think about the choices that the designer made when they created this image for advertising Maltesers. So if you're with somebody or you're in school with the key worker group, you might like to pause the video and have a discussion about these questions. Or if you're at home on your own, don't worry, you can just think to yourself for a moment and then we'll discuss our ideas. Okay, so on the picture, it says Maltesers, the lighter way to enjoy chocolate. So the adjective is lighter, okay? Our inference question then, who do you think the advert is aimed at? That's a bit of a broader question, isn't it? So who might the advert be aimed at? So I think the advert is aimed at children and also adults, anybody really who likes chocolate, okay? So people of all ages like and enjoy chocolate, don't they? So the advert is aimed at anybody who might like chocolate. But actually the fact that the text says lighter makes me think that the advert is aimed at people who want to eat chocolate, but they don't want to be too unhealthy. So they want to find a sort of better way to enjoy chocolate that perhaps is not so bad for them because the word lighter is used. Now that might not really be true, but that's the advertising that Maltesers are using to try to encourage people to eat their chocolate rather than different chocolates. Okay, and finally the choice question is, why did the illustrator add halos? So this is a bit of a tricky one, but I was thinking about angels, and we always see halos on the heads of angels and we imagine them to be really good, don't they? So I think the people who designed this picture put halos on the Maltesers because they wanted to show how good the Maltesers are, and also kind of implying that the Maltesers are good for you in some way, or a better way to have chocolate in some way, okay? So that's why I think they used halos. Right then, let's have a look at our WALT for today. So it's very similar to the last guided reading lesson, but we're building on what we learned then. So the WALT is to identify main ideas drawn from more than one paragraph and summarise these. So we're working on summarising again. So if you remember, summarising is about simplifying the text, isn't it? Okay, we looked at these texts last time. I wonder if you can remember some of the facts that you learnt from those texts. So all of the texts were linked to our Romans topic. So we had Defeat or Retreat, The Captivating Colosseum, Live Like an Emperor, and Caesar's Calendar Conundrum. They weren't very long texts, but they had some really interesting information about the Romans. So I wonder if you can remember any facts from those texts that you read last time. It was a couple of weeks ago, so you might have to think back, or if you've got your book in front of you, have a look back at what you did. It was a couple of weeks, about 2 weeks ago, we did this lesson. So if you're with somebody, share 1 or 2 facts that you remember from your summary of those texts now. And if you're on your own, just have a look back in your book and try to remind yourself of some of the facts that we found. So let's have a look at that WALT then. It is very similar to the WALT we had from last lesson, but if you notice, it says now from more than one paragraph. So the text that we were looking at last time were just short text, just a paragraph or 2 at most. Today we're going to be looking at a longer text and trying to summarise what we can learn from a longer text, again about the Romans, okay? So to help us with our summary, we have to find the main ideas and then shorten the information, okay? And we'll look at how we do that now. So we're still going to be identifying and summarising, but now we're going to do this over more than one paragraph of writing. So this is the text you're going to be looking at today. I've put this onto the daily plan for you. So if you're able to, you can print it out to read it. If not, you can read it on the screen. It doesn't matter, okay? And we will read it through together in a moment, because I know usually when we're together, we would read the text together. So I'll read it for you in just a moment to make sure that you've all heard it and understood the reading. So the text we're going to focus on today is non-fiction, and it's over 2 pages. So we're going to be working on summarising 2 pages of text. So just take a moment to look at that text. I will change the screen to a bigger image of it in a moment. But my questions are, what features have you found in the text? What features can you see? Particularly thinking about non-fiction text. So think about the features that we find in non-fiction texts. And how are those features going to help you with your summarising? Okay, let's have a look. So here's a bigger image of the 2 pages of text. What features can you see? So again, if you're with somebody, you can pause the video and talk about this now. If you're on your own, just look to yourself. You could jot down some answers or just keep them in your head. Okay, so hopefully you've realised we've got some key features there for non-fiction text, haven't we? We've got subheadings. So we've got who were the Romans, what did the Romans wear, what did the Romans eat, and what did the Romans enjoy? And I quite like the way that they've put all of the subheadings as questions, because it kind of mimics what the reader might have in their mind. The reader might be thinking, I wonder who the Romans were, and then the question's answered for them in that section. Okay, so it's a really good way to help the reader to find the information that they want. We've also got pictures, haven't we, of images of what the Romans wore, images of what the Romans ate, and also a map of where the Roman Empire was. Okay, so some key features there, also some text boxes, and it's set out in paragraphs as well, isn't it? So it's organised in a really good way to help the reader to find the information they want. So I did just read to you some of those subheadings. I wonder if you can remember any of them. So how many topics are covered in this text, and what feature of the text helps you to identify this quickly? Okay, so I have underlined them again for you here. I know the image is a bit small, but you've just seen them on the other page. So the subheadings, which are posed as questions, really help the reader to identify what they want to know. So if I was trying to find out what did Romans eat, I wouldn't necessarily need to read the whole 2 pages. I could just read the section on what Romans eat. So the subheadings are really helpful in finding the information you want. So it says, even without reading the text, the subtitles help us to separate the main points. Okay, so these are basically our 4 subheadings. So who were the Romans? What did the Romans wear? What did the Romans eat, and what did the Romans enjoy? And those are the 4 categories you're going to use for summarising your text today, which I'll show you in a moment. So let me read the text to you so I can make sure everybody's heard the text, but obviously do read it for yourself again at home or in school if you're with Mrs. Chamberlain with the key workers. From the size of their empire to their strange beliefs, read on to find out more about the mighty group of people known as the Romans. Who were the Romans? Rome is the capital city of modern-day Italy. It was the city at the centre of the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire is the name used for the land that was controlled by the Romans. This includes parts of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. The Romans were a group of people who were named after the important city of Rome. However, many soldiers fighting in the Roman army did not come from Rome itself. Instead, they came from one of many countries which were part of the Roman Empire. What did the Romans wear? Roman clothing was different for men and women. Men wore a knee-length tunic with a cloak over the top of it. Important Roman men would wear a long robe called a toga made from white wool or linen. Women wore a tunic which went down to their ankles. They would wear a dress called a stola over their tunics. Rich women would wear long tunics made from silk. They also wore lots of jewellery. The Romans also had different clothing for boys and girls. Boys wore a knee-length tunic. They would also wear a special piece of jewellery around their neck called a bulla. This was thought to protect them from evil spirits. It would be given to them when they were a few days old, and they would wear it until they were 16. Girls wore an ankle-length tunic with a belt made from wool. They also wore a necklace called a lunula. It was thought to protect them against the evil eye and would be worn until the day before their marriage. On their feet, most Romans would have worn sandals or boots made from leather. What did the Romans eat? The Romans would usually eat 3 meals per day. The Romans would eat a breakfast of bread or pancakes with dates and honey. For lunch, the Romans would eat a light meal of fish, cold meat, bread, and vegetables. In the evening, poorer Romans would eat vegetables and porridge, whereas richer Romans would enjoy a feast including wine. What did the Romans enjoy? The Romans did not have much free time. However, when they did, some Romans enjoyed hunting, whilst others would watch chariot races. Many enjoyed watching gladiators fighting, and wealthy Romans would throw expensive dinner parties to entertain their friends. Okay, so that's the text. Let's have a look at how we're going to pick out the main points and summarize them. So think back to how we did this with our 4 Roman texts that we looked at before. The first thing we need to do is identify the key information. And to do that, we need to ignore the description. Okay, we don't really want descriptive words. We just want to know the key facts that we're looking for. Then we're going to write those in shortened form in order to increase our comprehension techniques. Okay, and as you remember back from our previous lesson, we use bullet points to write those down, don't we? So that we write in a shortened form. So we're identifying key information, ignoring description, and writing down the key points to make our summary. So I've started to do one section on here, which I'll share with you now. You're going to be doing all 4 sections of the text today. So we had who were the Romans, what did the Romans wear, what did the Romans eat, and what did the Romans enjoy? So let's have a look at who were the Romans. So I'll read this paragraph again, or it's 2 paragraphs. I'll read this section again. I'm going to use my highlighter to highlight the key information. Again, if you haven't got a highlighter at home, don't worry, you can just use a gel pen or a colour pencil, whatever you've got, to highlight on the text to show which are the most important bits. Now remember, the information we really want is who were the Romans. So that's the information we're looking for. Don't worry about any other description or detail. We just want to be able to answer that question, who were the Romans? Rome is the capital city of modern-day Italy. It was the city at the centre of the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire is the name used for the land that was controlled by the Romans. This includes parts of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Well, all of that information is interesting, isn't it? It's telling us about the Roman Empire, but it's not actually telling me who were the Romans. So I think I can probably ignore most of that. So you see, a summary really is a shortened version. You shouldn't have too much information in. We only want to know who were the Romans, and all of that information was just about the Roman Empire. We haven't yet found out who the Romans were. So let's read on and see if we've got some information we can include in our summary. The Romans were a group of people who were named after the important city of Rome. Right, now that sentence really does answer the question, doesn't it? So I'm going to highlight that on the text. Again, use a gel pen or colour pencil, whatever you've got to identify on the text the key points. Now we've got, however, many soldiers fighting in the Roman army did not come from Rome itself. Instead, they came from one of the many countries which were part of the Roman Empire. So that is important, but I think I could probably write it in a shorter way, couldn't I? I'm going to just highlight many soldiers did not come from Rome. They came from one of many countries which were part of the Roman Empire. Okay, so try and just cut down some of that detail. We don't quite need all of it. We just want to write in a shortened form. So I'll show you how I've started my summary. So you have got this worksheet today as well. So on the daily plan, you've first got the text, which is over 2 pages. And then if you scroll down, you've got 2 more pages with the sheet that you're going to be filling out today. So you can write on the sheet. If you're not able to print it at home, don't worry, you can just write it straight into your exercise book, okay? It's only really these subheadings, so it's not a lot on the worksheet anyway. So if you can't print, just write straight into your exercise book. So who were the Romans? Let's have a look how I've started my summary. So I've started with that first sentence that I highlighted there, but I got rid of the Romans because that's in my question. I don't really need to keep writing that. And I've just put a group of people who are named after the important city of Rome. Okay, I'm going to add another bullet point now because I have got a little bit more information there that I can include. So I'm going to put, maybe I'll just start with that, many soldiers did not come from Rome. So you can see once you've done your highlighting, a lot of the hard work is done for you because that's the key points. You can just copy those on to your summary. So many soldiers did not come from Rome, comma, they came from, I'm just going to shorten that rather than say one of the many countries, I'm just going to say other parts of the Roman Empire. I don't need to write in quite as much detail. Okay, so that is my summary for that section. And as you can see, it's only 2 bullet points. So it's not very long at all. So you need to read the text carefully, use a highlighter or gel pen or color pencil to go through and identify just the key points. So you ignore all the description, just find the key points to answer that subheading, and then you can get your summary written in bullet points. Okay. So here are the sheets that you've got on your daily plan. So that's the 2 pages of text that we're reading today. And this is your activity sheet to write your answers into. Again, if you can't print it, don't worry, write it straight into your exercise books. Okay, so read really carefully. Don't forget, use a highlighter, color pencil or gel pen to identify the key points, ignoring the description, and then write in bullet points to complete your summary. And you saw mine was only 2 bullet points long for the who were the Romans. Okay, so it doesn't need to be really long, it's supposed to be short. Okay, a short summary, just including key information. Okay, when you have finished that, don't forget to think about how you got on, think about how you felt about the work, because I know some people found creating summaries a little bit tricky in our last guided reading lesson. So I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a learning pit on your work today and send me a photograph of what you've done later. Then I know how you feel about writing a summary and identifying main points in a text. Okay, it is a skill that we're working on. So don't worry if you're not quite confident with it yet, this will help you. So just pop a learning pit on the end of your work for me today. I'll leave it on that page for you to help you. Or you might want to pause it on this page so that you've got an example of how I've summarised the text. Okay, so if you're in school with Mrs. Chamberlain, she can pause the video here and you've got that in front of you to help you. And if you're at home, you can pause the video. Don't forget, you can flick back and forwards in the video if you need a reminder of how to find the key information and summarise it. Okay, good luck with your work today, Year 4. Look forward to seeing what you've done later. Well done.